What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 8 of The Punk. This episode will be the last in the current format. I know what you're thinking. I've done this before. I've done this a few times. The reason behind the change is because, to the surprise of no one, listening to some little British kid go on about wrestling and mixed martial arts for 15 minutes wasn't really that interesting. And I can't say I blame you all. It was a bit much, and also the fact that I was looking back at the week prior, was probably a little bit going too far back in the minds of most. So going to be changing it up. What I'm going to be doing is posting reviews the day after the event happened. So for example, Monday Night Raw is tonight. I'll be doing a video review recap the following day. So any pay-per-views the day afterwards as well, and I'll be embedding them into the reviews on the website. So hopefully that will suit a lot more of you going forward, but we'll see. Happy to keep bringing all this stuff to you anyway, so keep watching, sharing, linking, subscribing, whatever. And hopefully the new format should suit us all. So yeah, to recap last week's events, Raw, Smackdown and Impact. No UFC last week, but we are looking forward to an event this Saturday night. Raw was another one of those kind of okay shows. It was in some respects better than last week, so the quality is improving slightly and slowly. But there is one big hole at the moment in the whole jigsaw, and that's Dolph Ziggler. He's still not medically cleared. I know he's undergoing more tests, and hopefully he'll be cleared to wrestle very soon. But obviously focusing on just one title, which is John Cena and Ryback, is exposing some of the flaws in Ryback's in some of his work. So obviously, as mentioned in previous weeks, his mic work isn't that great. He's not that convincing a heel. He was far more popular as a face, and it's all being exposed horrifically at the moment because there is nothing else to focus on. So hopefully Dolph Ziggler will be back soon. I know that he actually worked a live show a couple of nights ago, so he might be on the show tonight. We don't know yet. But it should be interesting anyway. So last week we saw more Ryback Cena stuff. This time Curtis Axel challenged Cena to a match, which Cena accepted. And the match, in typical Raw or weekly television fashion, was with a sloppy finish. It was a count out because Ryback decided to drive his ambulance into the arena again. And don't worry, folks, you're not the only people that think that his theme is the ambulance siren sounds exactly like Scott Steiner's. So every time I hear it, I have to just tweet, "Holler if you hear me." Have to do it. So yeah, he drove the ambulance out to the ring. Cena ran out thinking, "Oh, I've got 10 seconds to go and investigate," and got counted out. So Axel is now 2-0 over Triple H and John Cena, and technically he's 4-0. He beat Sin Cara on SmackDown, but we'll talk about that later on. So yeah, I mean, as I said, exposed Ryback. Hopefully we can get a few more engaging storylines going forward to mask that, or hopefully we'll start seeing signs that Ryback is making improvements, and I think he is capable of them, just not at the moment. I mean, I know he's working with John Cena, but John Cena is also, despite being able to put together some decent promos, he's still quite limited as well. His shtick is quite old now, so. But we'll just have to see how that goes forward on. Anyway, so the Shield have continued their rivalry with Daniel Bryan, with Kane, and with Kofi Kingston. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say. Their match on Raw was one of the best matches this year. It was actually Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Team Hell No, and they tore the show up. They stole the show once again. It was like a 17-minute long match. It was superb and brilliant, and the whole Daniel Bryan weak link storyline is quite a nice little program they're running, and I think it might be leading to the eventual split of Team Hell No and a Daniel Bryan heel turn. I personally love Daniel Bryan as a heel. I think he can work both convincingly, and however they want to go forward with that is going to be good anyway. So that could be a good Summerline story, with perhaps him challenging for one of the world titles anyway. But that was absolutely by far the match of the night. It was superb and brilliant, and it basically saved the second hour. I mean, the second hour was a shambles. It was awful. It was just littered with plugs and useless promos and poor matches. Um, yeah, if you ever want to save a show, just book Team Hell No and The Shield. That seems to be the WWE's answer to everything at the moment, and it's working. So fair play. So moving on to Smackdown. I know I'm not going to spend too much time warbling on about Raw. You know what Raw's usually like. So Smackdown was the better show of the week, and this episode of Smackdown last Fridays was probably one of the best in its history. Smackdown has recently been criticised for basically just featuring Raw recaps for the entire show, and while we did get some in the second hour, it didn't actually distract too much away from the action. We started off the show with both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in singles action against Daniel Bryan and Kane respectively, and Seth Rollins lost. So that only leaves Roman Reigns as the undefeated member of the group, because if you remember, Dean Ambrose was beaten by The Undertaker a few months ago. So both quality matches, a fantastic way to start the show as well, and a good way for us to see what the individual members of the Shield are like as single units. That led on to a really funny segment with Damien Sandow and Sheamus, and that was probably one of my favourite non-wrestling promos of the entire year so far, bar none. It was hilarious, it really was, and Damien Sandow seems to be picking up some momentum with his gimmick, which dropped off a little bit towards the end of last year, so fingers crossed WWE actually don't drop the ball again and allow him to progress as a singles competitor, maybe even challenge for one of those kind of, doesn't mean shit mid-card titles, but we shall see once again. The main event was Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton, which is pretty much every wrestling fan's wet dream. Everyone was really hyped up for that event, and while it finished with a DQ, with the Shield getting involved, it did lead to one of the more memorable moments of this year, which involved Daniel Bryan basically coming out, doing his whole crazy I'm not the weak link stuff, and literally killing all of the members of the Shield by himself. So that would be really interesting to see how they progress with that. As I mentioned, the whole Daniel Bryan thing is very, very interesting and exciting at the moment, and plus it also fills the gap of not having Dolph Ziggler on the show. So well done to WWE. That's obviously they've caught on, and they're just using the whole Team Hell No Shield thing to really hide the deficits in the product at the moment. So, but yeah, Curtis Axel, as I said, he's still undefeated. He beat Sin Cara once again. I don't understand why Sin Cara is still employed by WWE. He seems to be putting in the effort since he's returned. Well, when I say putting in the effort, he hasn't actually botched anything, but it does. I mean, he's been back 2 weeks and he's lost 2 straight, and we haven't seen anything else of him. So it's obvious that he could be one of the next people to get their pink slip. He has flopped, and it's a shame, but these things happen, and Sin Cara hasn't. So overall, very, very, very good Smackdown. Fantastic, actually. It's the best of the year, and Raw wasn't too bad either. So a not bad week for WWE. Moving on to Impact, we had the last Impact before the Slammiversary event. The Slammiversary, which actually happened last night. But don't spoil anything for me, because I'm in the UK and I have to watch fucking Challenge TV and pretend that it never happened yesterday. So don't spoil it for me, or I will find you. Probably wouldn't, but please don't spoil it. Anyway, so Impact. Last week's episode was the first I'd watched in a long time of Impact, and it didn't get off to a good start because of Hulk Hogan coming out and cutting a promo with his daughter, which is pretty much the TNA equivalent of having John Cena come out for an hour. It's really hideous TV, and to call both those actors is an insult to actors. That's my opinion. Anyway, this week you had something else entirely. It was dominated by Aces and Eights once again, and while I like Aces and Eights, I think their gimmick's pretty cool. And no, they didn't nick it from the Shield, because Aces and Eights did debut a long time before the Shield did. So to put any of those rumours to rest right now, I think they're a little bit all over the product at the moment. I think they're in danger of becoming to WCW what the NWO were. But you know, if they play it right, there is dissension in the ranks with D'Lo Brown. They seem to be falling apart with this whole AJ situation. And also, Bully Ray is under pressure to beat Sting at Slammiversary, which is happening on Wednesday, not Sunday. I don't know what that was, by the way. So we had Mr Anson in action against AJ Styles, and it was a pretty good match. It was a long match. It was nearly 20 minutes long, and as what usually happens on weekly programming, Kurt Angle came out and caused a DQ, but it led to a match brawl, and it basically led to Bully Ray standing over Sting with the title. It's a good way to hype the show. I wasn't actually too fussed about Slammiversary coming in, but after that show, I'm actually really looking forward to watching the event on Wednesday. So props to TNA. Obviously, they're learning quickly how to really, ramp up the anticipation for an event, and well done to them. I think they've come a long way since they moved out of the Impact Zone, and it's visible in their product and the matches they're putting on. So yeah, I mean, also we saw some signs of Mickie James' heel turn as she came out and cut what can be best described to WWE fans as a very Eve Torres kind of heel-like promo. She's basically being all friendly to Velvet Sky, her kind of rival at the moment, basically the knockout she beat for the title. And when Gail Kim came out and started a little fight with Sky, Mickie James was very hesitant to help her out, so I think we're seeing a slow build heel turn there. And for those of you who remember Mickie James from WWE when she debuted, she was an amazing heel back then. She was one of the reasons why the Divas division was so highly regarded back then, and why it's such a shame to see it in the state it is now. So Mickie James is very much missed in the WWE, and TNA have always had a very good Divas division, and I don't know why I'm calling it Divas division, the women's division, or the Knockouts division, and they've always had a good, they've always done well in that respect. So so obviously heel Mickie James will be great for the company overall. Not a lot of Hulk Hogan, Brooke Hogan as well. Perfect. Keep it like that. I don't want to see them. They're already on enough of the marketing campaigns and intros and promos and fucking everything. Get them off the TV. Just do it. And Garrett Bischoff as well. I don't think a lot of people like him, so get rid of him too. So yeah, also a little confirmation that Jeff Hardy will be back at Slammiversary. He will be teaming up with Magnus and Samoa Joe to take on Garrett Bischoff, Wes Briscoe, and DOC in what could be quite an interesting little cool match. So yeah, I mean, the stage has been set for Slammiversary. I know it happened yesterday one more time, but it's happening on Wednesday for me, so I'll be watching that, and I'll be presenting a little event review the following day. So well, that just about sums it up for this week anyway. Well, this kind of run of episodes anyway. I'll be bringing a Raw review recap tomorrow, and obviously, as I mentioned, the Slammiversary review recap on Thursday. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tweet, share, +1, like again, just do whatever. Share this with friends, toasters, walking dogs, trees, anyone you can think of. Just don't share it with the nostalgia geek, because he'll just do it anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.